I remember jumping in puddles after a long rain.
I remember looking out onto the empty playground on rainy days.
I remember my first day at school, and I want to talk about something you guys don't have here in America. I'm from Germany, and they used to give the little children something we call Schultüte. It's a huge paper cone, and my mom made it by her own with little horses on it, and it has a bow on top. And you don't really know what's in it. You have to wait, and then you carry your huge cone, and you hope that there are a lot of sweets in it and some toys, and every single student has got this huge cone, and they are all made differently, and some of the parents really made them buy their own. And so it was a really exciting day to meet new people and to have this huge cone. And I have some really nice pictures of it, and always when I look at the pictures with my parents and this horse cone, I always remember my first day at school and the very cool people I met there.
I remember hanging on the trapeze at the playground like a chimpanzee.
I remember fishing in invisible ponds.
So I remember 2 months ago, my baby sister was born. Her name's Summer, and she's the cutest thing ever. And I remember my parents texting me a half hour away that she was coming, and so I was getting ready, like getting my hair done, getting my makeup done, because I knew I had to take pictures. But when we opened the door and we saw her, she was the most adorable thing ever, and I started to cry. And I remember I asked my parents how much she weighed, and they said about 7 pounds. And when I held her, I could definitely feel that she was lightweight. And right when I held her, she smiled, and it was the cutest thing ever. And that's how I met my baby sister.
I remember laughing to myself at the tiny things in life that went wrong.
Well, for the longest time, both of our children wanted to have a dog. And since we've always moved all over the place, we said we have to wait, and finally the time was right, and we were kind of walking back and forth in between the aisles where all the pets were and where all the dogs were. And then my husband saw a dog, and he said she would be the one. She is the one. And we walked with both of my children there and said hi to her. She was very sweet, but she was very shy. And so we weren't quite sure, and we had a long talk. And then we decided to adopt her.
I remember running through the fields of grain with the wind breezy around me.
I remember playing soccer until my toes ached with pain and my stomach with laughter.
I remember the first time when I rode a bike was when I was probably about 5 years old. I think I learned it in front of our old house before we moved, in front of the garage. And at first my dad explained to me what to do. I already could ride my three-wheel bike, but now I had to upgrade and do only the two wheels. And at first he told me what to do and how to keep the balance, and then he kind of pushed me a little, so I was good to go. But of course it didn't work out at first time, so I had to try a second time and a third time and so on and so on. And by the evening I was so tired and I still couldn't ride my bike. But the second day, the next day, I tried. After I got up, I just wanted to try, and everything went perfect. So somehow I just needed a night to sleep over, and then it worked out perfect.
I remember playing on the playground at school.
I remember sitting around a bonfire, letting the heat prickle my face.
I remember when I was serving in the Mojave Desert back in the early 2000s. And it was almost like being a cowboy. You're down there tending the herd during the day, and at night you'd ride on up into the mountains on your steed. That's what we called our Humvees. Right up in the mountains, you'd throw coals. That's what we called when we made the little fires. After we got done with that, we'd all sit around as a small group and we'd discuss the activities of the day. And then we'd just tell stories. And it was kind of funny because you'd be sitting there telling the story and the fire would start going down, and someone would say, put another log on the TV, or put another tape on the TV. And what that simply meant was, let's build the fire up again. And then you'd lay down in the back of the Humvee at night. Sometimes I'd pull out by myself, and it was pretty interesting because you'd be out there and the wind would be howling and blowing, but it seemed deathly silent. But
I remember jumping the fence while running during a game of tag.
I remember swinging so high, I could almost reach the sky and fly away.
I remember the first concert I went to. It was a Green Day concert, actually. It was very fun. It was like the greatest experience of my life.
I remember wandering around the neighborhood with my friends.
I remember the first time when I was involved in diagnosis of cancer. In fact, I was on my medical training, and I never did this before, but the doctor asked the family in for telling them what could be seen on the X-ray and on the CT. So actually he asked all of them in and asked the family if it was okay if there's a medical student who would also be in the room and listening to them. So they said okay, there's no problem, and he began to sit next to the patient and tell her what they found on the CT. It was cancer of the ovaries, and they told her already that she had metastasis and there was nothing left really to do for her. So this was quite an emotional experience, and I'm very thankful for both the doctor and the patient, and of course the family who accepted me in this room.
I remember seeing the world through the eyes of curiosity.